You know, back when Kokushibo was going through his flashback, and we heard word about how both he and Muzan were not really a match for Yuichi when he was, alive and in his prime. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll eventually get to see that encounter where Muzan runs into him, or if maybe Muzan just kind of saw it and knew that he wouldn't be able to fight him. But we had set up last chapter. They met. It's him. There's Muzan, Taimayo, and this whole part I thought was hilarious. I know there's some really good paneling. There's some good description going on of like Yoichi is just like describing like how he felt when he saw Muzan. Like he was the presence he gave off was like an erupting volcano. Just that huge overflow of power and destruction, death and rebirth that he kind of had going on for him. But also, like, it's his whole power where he can see things kind of transparently. Dude, it's 7 hearts and 5 brains. I mean, that's really neat. I actually really like that part. It was just a really nice, small descriptive thing that kind of like added to him. Makes me think actually a lot about like I know there are different animals and stuff that have multiple brains. The cockroaches have a second brain in their back. So I think that's one of the reasons why they can stay alive if they cut off their head. But at that point, it was really just that encounter that really pushed Yorichi into kind of perfecting his sword forms and getting into this serious tone that he's at, this serious kind of state. Like when he dodges some of Muzan's attacks, he doesn't even look behind him to see like, oh, is it coming back or anything. He's just going off of like skill and instinct at this point, and just lands this big slash and goes and cuts the dude, just bisects him and just leaves him in awe, because not only was he so fast that Muzan looks completely astonished. He looks like he had no idea what just went down, but I think also the fact that he was able to cut him so swiftly and so just so, I want to say like almost majestically. I like that scene just looks fantastic, but at the same time, like Muzan, for him, this is potential death. This is a potential death part. Like I've played some games where it's like, you get into like a spot and you think you're gonna be fine, and no, you're not gonna be fine, and you just barely manage to escape what looked like to be an absolute like death on you. And that feeling is kind of like it's a deep like sudden despair when you're like, oh, I'm going to lose. I there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. I don't, you don't want to lose whatever progress you had in the game or whatever like items you have. And it's different obviously in a fictional world for Muzan. Well, for someone playing through an avatar, if you put yourself in Muzan's shoes though, this was probably like an immediate like, I need to get out of here. This is not something that I want to be in. Because after he gets cut, he's like trying to reconnect like his head and his parts off. Because Kokushibo though, well, not Kokushibo, sorry, Yorichi has, the red blade. He's got sun breathing. He's not able to regenerate the same way. He's not going to be able to heal himself up and put himself back together the same way that a normal sword is going to really affect him. And at that point, I think he knew he was kind of, I think he knew, like, this isn't a fight I want to be in. This isn't something that I ever want to come across at any point ever again. Because one thing about Muzan that I do like is he seems very cautious. Because I think he knows, like, I've lived this long. I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to die. I can't let any of this kind of go to waste over something so small as a lacking a lack of judgment call on this guy he was facing. Because he says like he wasn't really interested in demon slayers anymore. Unfortunately for him, like all the ones he came across were not going to compare up to Yorichi, who's like the greatest one that they ever had, at least as of right now in the history of things. And he's like trying to ask him about the value of life. Muzan doesn't answer. He's moreover just kind of getting pissed off of the state he's in. He doesn't have his hands. His neck is just spurting blood, and he needs to flee. He has to run away. That's also probably a large dagger into his ego and just the quick and utter defeat that he's facing. Well, Taimayo is she's just happy. Like there's this light in her eyes that potentially they could defeat Muzan. Because we know that Muzan is different. Cutting off his head isn't gonna really kill him. It has to be by the sun. Or seemingly, after, you see these parts about, he can't heal from
uh, the Sunblade attacks, that he can only do so much, and that so much is not here. Because after that point, he just like he gets pissed, he gets even angrier, grits his teeth, and he just explodes and sends like large like heaps of flesh all around him. What is it? I think what did you said it was like close to 2,000 like little meatlets that he sent out, and enough to survive that he could pretty much just regenerate and grow himself back up to normal. So that was at least good for Muzan. Like for Muzan as a character to have some form, even though he overcame like, oh, cutting off my head doesn't do anything, and all these demon slayers aren't really a threat to me. It was smart that he either was quick on his feet to do this, or he had this prepped and ready. Like if I ever have to do this, then it's ready. Just to have some backup plan, some eject pod style escape in a pretty much the most desperate act that you're gonna have, especially for someone of his stature. But at the same time, it's smart for him to have it in general, just because, I mean, legitimately look at this spot. If it wasn't for this, then Yorichi would have just killed him right here, and that would have been it. But after that point, he escapes, and Kokushibo is actually informed that he had been turned into a demon. They're telling Yorichi, your brother had he'd gone over, and now he is with them. And Tamayo just kind of like runs away, and there's some notes of Yorichi, the fact he didn't just kill her, because obviously she's a demon, he's sympathetic, which is something that, we got with Tanjiro as well. I like that there's some parallels between the two characters, nice contrasting points. But the whole part when they're like, oh yeah, your brother became a demon, you should quit, you should kill yourself. That part, I don't like that part. I mean, obviously these guys are all pissed off about this, but like the question is, so we know that like when Zenitsu, when his fellow disciple, that other guy, whatever I forgot his name, he was the replacement for Upper Moon 6. When he turned into a demon, their master killed himself out of shame, which again, it's unfortunate he did that, but I can see a little bit more when you're a teacher, because it's kind of like you failed as a teacher. You failed at guiding one of these people you took under your wing. But you can't really say it with the same thing with Yorichi and Kokushibo, because they're brothers. Yes, he helped them all with their breaths, but I think he should get 100% a pass. And the reason that is it's not like he's just, oh yeah, he's a big deal, he's pillar level or something. No, he's the best guy you have by far, who also helped you all get your breaths and can teach people like how to make their own breaths and stuff. Like, it's crazy to me. It's absolutely like absurd to me for these guys to kick him out. Like, why would you want to get rid of him? You want to keep him around in case, like legitimately the dude could just mow through demons like nothing. Like, what kind of asset are you trying to expunge over like this small incident? Like, it's like, oh, his brother turned to a demon. It's like, well, then don't you want him around to take care of him? Like, wouldn't you be like, well, instead, no, it's your duty to kill him instead? Like, why would you want to like banish him out? You're just getting rid. That just means you got rid of not only one of your best guys turning into a demon, but your very best guy you're just gonna kick out. That's silly. But beyond that, there's some nice like interactions when you have the characters. Like, he's like, oh, he doesn't want to do anything worse than it's already in the situation. But then he's just talking through the avatar that Tanjiro is seeing all these memories from, and Yorichi ends up giving this little kid a hug. This happy kid who's just wanted to see him, and I think that's childlike kind of smile and laughter really kind of moved him, because he's a character like Yorichi's not an emotional guy. He's like this. He's so skilled and talented. He's just very naturally good at all these things. But it's because of that he's so turned away from a lot of other humans. He doesn't like align with a lot of human nature. He developed in some of these other ways that he wasn't able to really craft a normal sense of humanity in a lot of ways. Like, the only thing that really seemed normal for him was the fact that he's helping his mom, he cared about his mom, and then he found that girl that he was gonna start a family with, or that she and his unborn kid were killed by a demon. But Anjiro, even though he knows that this was this is a memory from hundreds of years back, that Yorichi is long since dead, he was hoping that he found a little bit of peace in his life, which is rough because we know how he ended. After he got that first slash in on Kokushibo, he just died on the spot. His life just kind of faded away. So, actually, this chapter, a pretty fast read. A lot of it was narration. A lot of it was like describing, the scenes of what was going on, just the depiction of, the inside Yorichi's mind. So we're gonna get one last chapter before the break. So we'll get one next week, and then it should be a week off. And then I'm guessing, we won't get another. I don't know if it's 2 weeks. I think it's just 1 week. I think we'll get another chapter. Like on the 5th? The 5th of January, start of the new year. I'm guessing either the 5th or the 12th. If I recall correctly, just a last minute thought. I think we'll get one on obviously next week on the 22nd. I think we get one on the 5th. And then I think they take another week off on the 12th and then go back to their normal schedule on the 19th. I don't know 100%. I'd have to go back and look at last year's releases, but obviously I'm assuming the week after next week, they're going to take the week off because it is Christmas. And there are a lot of Japanese people that still enjoy Christmas. So other than that, plus they deserve some time off. Other than that, though, comment below, tell me your thoughts on this chapter. I really liked the the way that we saw Yorichi, like his descriptions and experience of just being before Muzan, but also just Muzan's frustration and yet readiness for this whole scenario. Other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, from the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.